So can we meet you, sir?
Thank you very much. My name is King Ifeanyi Chukwuoruro.
Okay.
As a businessman, I am the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of Living Capital Investments Limited. I also have other interests and entities, about 7 of them that I run. And aside from that, we have a series of 28 projects that we're championing in Nigeria. I am an Abugo man from Nkano land, Igbo by tribe. A cosmopolitan Nigerian, so tribe is not a big factor to me. I was born and raised in Oakland, California, USA, and have intertwined with both cultures here in Nigeria and in the US. But in 2011, I chose home at all costs to be here. Whatever the problems or challenges, we must find a way to fix them. And it's in the course of that fixing that I am now in Nnewi as part of a national showcase that we're doing across Nigeria called the I Ga Eso Welu ROADSHOW.
Okay.
Yes.
So what or why did you go into this I Ga Eso Welu something? Why did you come in there?
Okay. So the thing is that as a businessman, and I'm not sure I can call myself a businessman, I came back home to Nigeria because I had seen the world and taken a decision that my people were being regarded as less than the rest. And I wasn't okay with that. So my entire business architecture is about how we can take control of our lives and fix it so that our people live full lives in the lands of their fathers. So I run something that is less like a business, or more like what a politician would run if he was trying to fix the problem. But I'm not a politician. I wouldn't even call myself an activist. I am a first son of the land who refuses to take any concessions on the life of his people. So this I Ga Eso Welu Roadshow is a comprehensive attempt to revision how the world sees us and how we see ourselves. We call it the greatest showcase of Nigeria because the idea is to showcase everywhere we go to the world and to ourselves, and also to show ourselves all that is possible for us in the world.
Okay, throw more light on the way you wish to showcase your area, your country and your tribe to the world.
Very good. So again, some of what I do is less about me as a person, promoting myself for a particular enterprise. I'm more about the systems we need in place so that we can all progress together, right? So when we talk about the showcase, it isn't about me coming to show anything. It is about all of us coming to show, and there are different areas where a society can say these are the areas that we participate in. We participate in everything, right? So there's the social world, you understand, which includes our culture and co. There's the enterprise world. There's the world of governance. And all of those things are good. And when you now break it down to the works of our hands, there are people in the performing arts, in arts and crafts. There are people in media. There's science and technology. There's healthcare. There's the movies, music, right? Literary arts. All these things are part of a society. The crafting of this furniture, which we no longer do for whatever reason. We have outsourced wood. The tiles on the floor. We have outsourced soil. We've outsourced virtually everything. I don't know what we now do for a living. But there are people who do all of those things here, who are fighting to keep those things alive. And so showing that off, the works of our hands, the talents and skills, right? Art, technology, all of those things are part of. You understand? So we are in Nigeria. I don't want to call a particular company. They have taken their light. So this is inverter. The light, for those who have the light has changed, we'll manage it, right? Yeah. It's unfortunate. The average Nigerian doesn't have that, right? So part of this showcase is that investment isn't going inland in Nigeria. If investment was going inland, then we'll have further development everywhere, not just focused in Lagos or Abuja. And so this roadshow is considering 55 cities in Nigeria to be as important as Lagos and Abuja. It's considering Nnewi to be as important as Ikoyi. It's considering Mambila Plateau to be as important as Enugu. It's considering Ijebu-Ode to be as important as Kano, right? That all these cities have people in them. And we want to showcase all that is good about those people, not kidnapping. I am not saying it's not happening in the country. It's not my interest. There are political angles to things when you do things like this. There are no political angles when I'm doing them. No religious angles, no tribal angles. It is called the I Ga Eso Welu Roadshow because I am an Igbo man. I am the vision carrier, and I couldn't go and name it in someone else's language. And I sure as will not name it English, right? It isn't called the I Ga Eso Welu Roadshow because we are trying to ostracize any part. It Yoruba I Ga Eso Welu, Ijo I Ga Eso Welu, Hausa I Ga Eso Welu, Hausa, Swahili I Ga Eso Welu, anybody, anywhere, it has a meaning, an underlying meaning, which is, will you follow and partake? Will you follow and own, right? Which is what we're trying to do, is that we are looking at how do we rebuild Africa and how do we attract investment directly to every segment of African society, starting with Nigeria. And we also want to know the young people. We want the young people to know, the elders to know, that this thing we're doing belongs to you. I Ga Eso Welu, you can be part of owning this. You can be part of partaking in this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll pause there.
Okay, in what areas would you want all these cities of the world, especially Nnewi here, that it is taken off? In which way would you like residents and indigenes to be part of this epoch-making event?
Very good. So the I Ga Eso Welu Roadshow has 7 components. It's the same 7 components in every city that we are going to. Job fair, where we have 500,000 jobs across Nigeria that people can access, from chief executive officer, chairman of board of directors, to any other thing people might consider lowly. We don't consider any job lowly. Well-paying jobs, global standard opportunities here at home. We always, within my organization, likes to use the idea, Japa here, right? We want to bring our brothers and sisters back home to develop our society, right? So the job fair gives people, no matter where they are from, an opportunity to apply for any one of those 500,000 jobs. And those are free, right? Access to those are free. Then we have the trade fair component. We have people trading, manufacturing, producing, everything in every space. So Nnewi is known for auto parts, machine parts, and co. But there are people doing fashion in Nnewi. There are people doing arts in Nnewi. There are people doing media in Nnewi. And all of those things need to be platformed. There needs to be an opportunity for them to showcase themselves to the world. And so when we're doing the roadshow, people will come from all over Nigeria, all over the zone, all over the country, all over the continent, all over the world. Delegations from China, from Germany, from Russia, from America. And they are able to see this young man or this elder producing something unique that they can either support. Maybe they're in finance, they can support in finance. Maybe they're a producer of one thing or the other he needs, they can support in that way. Or maybe they're a consumer, they can begin to buy from him or her, right? That's the trade fair. Then you have the talent showcase, where people can come and compete in 3 distinct categories, because you have physical sports and things like that. You have arts and the creative activities, and then you have performing arts. Most times when we talk about talent, we're only talking about performing arts, singing, dancing, modeling. No, but if somebody comes and can make this table, and it is the best thing that comes out of the presentation, he deserves to win the overall talent competition over a singer. Because talent is about how rare. It's not that you can sing, it's how rare is your singing voice, right? And how much effort have you put into perfecting how you modulate it as a professional. So if somebody has shown that of all the presentations that we had, that the best thing was a furniture piece, he deserves that highlight. And our exhibitions of talent come with prizes. Again, the performers do not pay to participate. It is free participation. In fact, the structure of this roadshow is that the only people who spend money in this roadshow are businessmen and women. All the youth that participate, all the people that participate, they are able to participate in the activities free of charge. It is businessmen who want to participate as sponsors, whatever, any kind of collaboration that presents and promotes someone's business, we expect them to pay for it. We also have global sponsors that we're partnering with, and we as an organization have our own investment and budget for this, right? So personally, we are spending 5.5 billion naira on this project, right? And then we have global media sponsors that are providing $1 million each to participate. And then we source local sponsors in each area, right? And then the exhibitors also have to pay for their exhibitions. But like I said, the job fair, free application, free to get, free whatever. The talent showcase, free, but they still get their prices, right? And then continuing, we have what we call exhibitions. That's the fourth thing I'm mentioning now. Exhibitions are that as we are showing the world in Nnewi, these people that came to look for jobs, these people that are showing their businesses, these people that are performing, as we're showing that to people, and we're also moving around the city, introducing people to bodies of water, places they can invest in this and that, right? As we are doing that, we also want to show the people in Nnewi things and opportunities in the world. So every day we're watching China and humanoid robots, dogs, crawling robotic dogs. Why don't we have that in our schools? So we're bringing those things with us. The average child is growing up, never had he ever petted a dog. Maybe because there's no yard space in the house. He doesn't have cats. To now talk less of eagles and parrots and tortoises and horses. So we're going to have exhibitions on animals and the natural world, where they can see exhibitions on how a plant grows. The things you watch on online streaming, we can put it out in real life and children can come free of charge and get a feel of that, right? They can touch animals in the petting zoo. They can ask questions about things, right? We have a science and technology exhibition where they can see a microscope, lab equipment, right? How a phone works, understand the technologies behind an IC, right? What a data center is supposed to look like, how this telecommunications of a thing actually works, models of those things, actual technology that this person can interact with and feel, including the humanoid robots that we talk about, live presentation where the kids can interact with them. And then we have the arts and crafts, where they can see how people make paintings, how people make crafts, and they can learn fashion design, all these things, right? Again, free, right? Because what we should be doing as those who claim to be successful is pioneering a society by assisting our young ones in choosing adequately, properly, the right careers for themselves, projecting a modern future for themselves. But they need access. And access should not be determined by their economic class. So anybody from any part of the zone, when we're doing something, can come and participate in the activities in the zone. Learn about the world. Children every day decide, I'm going to be a doctor. They've never seen a doctor clerk. I'm going to be an engineer. They've never seen mixing of concrete. Right? That's why nobody chooses zoology. Because they don't have love for animals, because there's no interaction. But our ancestors had interactions. I have a love for animals. And that love comes from my grandmother. Interactions with my grandmother. My grandmother had everything that was havable. My grandmother lived on 5 acres of land, and there was nothing that was not on that land. In December, when we were allowed, as Omako Obodoyibo, as children from abroad, right? Allowed just that one day, Christmas, you would help her catch the chicken. You'll see her kill the chicken, because it's her chicken, and put it in the pot. The yam, everything is somewhere in the store. All of it from that land. any vegetable that she's using. I've never seen anything. I don't want to mention brands, but these seasoning cubes. I've never seen anything seasoning cube in my grandmother's. For what? She had all the natural things, and it was in her premises. When you go around and you interact, and she had cats, have this, have that, you find a natural love for something that you love, right? So anyway, let me pause there again. I want to follow your lead.
Before I go to the major, some of the major questions I want to,
Yes.
I want to find out, I guess Welu with 28 investments, it's a top project, it's a big one, you know, that is brings to the question, how did the vision for this particular idea, how did the vision come up?
Is it for the projects or for the roadshow?
The vision for bringing
I Ga
this
Eso
to
Welu.
Nigeria,
Okay.
how did the vision come, how did it come alive?
Okay, so the vision was born from the projects. So I moved back to Nigeria in 2011. By 2012, I was already struggling. I moved back to Nigeria, a very successful businessman in the US. I was always a businessman from early age. I was a major distributor of Nigerian movies in the day when Nollywood ruled the space, before music became anything, right? In the early 2000s, I was a leading distributor in the state of California. When I came back to Nigeria, within a 1 year or two, Nigeria had really serially dealt with me. But I decided to stay. So I continued to build my ideas until I began to discover the gaps in why foreign investment doesn't come into Nigeria. I know every day, and politicians will not like me for saying this, but we have to say it. Every day Nigeria talks about foreign direct investment. There's no such thing. What happens is that people take billions of dollars, they bring it into Nigeria through Euro bonds. Right? It's money to banks. It's money to banks. It's investment in banks. It's not foreign direct investment. And then money goes into oil and gas. It's not foreign direct investment. It's money to oil and gas. Do you understand? Proper investment is in tapping and developing nascent opportunities, not feeding cash cows. Do you understand? And I wanted when I started Living Capital, my first letter to investors was named, "You can't mine in a gold mine." And if I get into the story behind that, it's an own complex story. But my point was that I discovered after my own struggles, by 2012, I moved back in 2011. By 2012, I had faced kidnappers, I had faced armed robbery, I had faced a bunch of things, and I faced internal family theft. Are you getting me? Liquidation.
How do you overcome those?
Very good. So by 2012, I had come to my senses, structured Living Capital, and done this thing, this letter I was telling you about, my first investment letter to a group of investors called "You Can't Mine for Gold in a Gold Mine." Because I had discovered that I, as an investor, was looking at the wrong thing. I came in with a technology business called Log Baby Global Ventures Limited. Log Baby. It was a nod to the Googles. It's a business directory technology, right? Web technologies. After 1 year, I discovered that I was looking at the wrong thing. So that's why I say, "Can't mine for gold in a gold mine." That the missing opportunity in Nigeria is the people. Nobody is investing in the people. People are investing in oil and gas. They're investing in banking. They're investing in real estate. They're not investing in the highest mine in the country, the people. Young people who have nothing to do. I'll give you an example. If you come to Abuja, where I live when I'm in Nigeria, right? You go to, during celebrations like Salah, you'll see a row of rams piling the side of Apo Legislative Quarters and Co. and all those places. You will now see that the rams are like 20. But there are 40 boys selling 20 rams. It's economic waste. How can 40 boys be selling 20 rams? What is the profit in one ram? Now 40 boys should be selling it should be 20:1 in a real economy. It's economic waste. You drive across the country and you see 17 policemen, 6 policemen, 50 policemen, 10 policemen, whatever. 3 poles baking in the sun, half dying. When they retire at 65, 2 months, you hear burial. Waste of manpower. You see young boys, road safety, in a world with drones, sitting on the side of the road. 12 of them, manning one truck. I don't know how they get there because one truck to 12. Do you understand? So the country has a systematic mental challenge in wasting human resources. So I decided to invest in another direction. So Living Capital stands for Life Invested in a Vital Enterprise, Nigeria. It was a cage for myself that I by the inspiration of God, I set for myself. I must find my feet here, because by that time I was down. And I started rebuilding. Because you asked me how we got here. Cumulatively, by the time I got to 2022, I was already restored, per se, as they would say, and had expanded my reach well beyond what I thought, because it took a lot to get people to look into Nigeria. Those structures I created with global offices in 17 countries, more than 20 offices in Nigeria, the architecture I needed to create to bypass the reason why people don't invest in Nigeria now gave birth in 2022 to a 28 project scheme that we're doing under what we call Vision Unlimited 2025. It started July 1st of last year. In the course of those projects, so those projects I told you I have 7 entities, one of which is Alosewa. It is a hedging mechanism for currency for sovereign wealth funds, multinational corporations, and global banks to ensure that whatever capital put in Africa retains value. But then the key difference with what I do is that as opposed to foreign reserves that are sent abroad to hold, I bake that money in the oven of African trade so that the money is stimulating trade here. Anyway, long story short, we structured a 28 billion Alosewa investment package. Alosewa is hedged to the dollar, 1% above the dollar, pegged to the dollar. So that translates to $28.28 billion investment package. Over the course of the next 3 years, we will spend $28.28 billion to build these 28 projects that we're talking about. Projects in agriculture, in transportation, in media, in real estate, across the board, right? 28 distinct projects in 20 different states. Now, when you want to build something like that, you need advanced manpower, right? And in our own efforts to rise manpower for our projects, we discovered a challenge that everybody else is facing. The manpower in Nigeria that is excellent is looking out. The opportunity might be here. There was a statement accredited to the founder of MoneyPoint at the time, where he said he was looking for, I think, 500 job positions and couldn't fill it. And people were lambasting him for reasons I do not understand, because the reality is that the manpower that has the qualifications to do the job, I'll use a very simple example since we're in Nnewi, and I believe there is a man here who runs an auto production facility. Chief Ifediaso Innocent Chukuma. If you are going to do auto manufacturing, you need what is called product design, product modeling, to be able to develop the way you want your car headlights. You need pure electronic components, the ability to design and configure a PC board to instruct, this is what the battery should do when this happens, this is what the radio should do when this happens. Those things don't exist in Nigeria. They don't exist. I have traveled through many universities in Nigeria. The projects don't exist. They will give you PC boards that do not pass muster in 1980, that you can't find in a 1982 Honda Accord, and they're giving it to you in 2026. So we needed a project that will shake the tree of occupation across Nigeria. Let everybody everywhere in the country know, I Ga Eso Welu, these projects we have call for 500,000 jobs, specific positions, 500,000 jobs. I can use an example in Itunaya Media Network, because you're in media, where we want to pioneer the replacement for modern invasion of our cultural aesthetics by online streaming platforms, some of which we are using for this video. But it is, in my view, primary colonization in this day and age that we cannot get information across without YouTube or Netflix, Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp, none of which are African, to talk less of Nigerian. It means we are not independent in the modern day. Itonaya chases that independence, and it has need for 2,502 workers, just that. Premium workforce, producers, directors, executives, you understand me, and talent. So that is how you come up with these 500. There are jobs that need to be filled now, and we don't want to fill them, no insult to anybody. We do not want to fill them with Indians. We don't want to fill them with Chinese. We want to fill them with Nigerians and Ghanaians and people from Gabon and South Africa. I don't care what anybody wants to think. If somebody wants to be xenophobic towards me, it's his problem. If in his xenophobia he blocks my road, I will do everything in my power to eject him. But he's not going to make me xenophobic. So, including South Africans. I'm listening to you.
Now, sorry, what can you say about your growing up? Because looking at your age, and this book goes consulting of investment opportunities and the ideas. What can you say about your growing up?
I grew up well. I'm a lucky child. I was exposed to every risk. If you've met my son before we started this interview, you can see that he's a wild animal. I raised him the way I grew up. I was born to a wealthy man, educated family, prominent family from Abugo. I have a very rich ancestry on both my mother and my father's side, but I was allowed to play outside. So I was a normal kid. In the times that we were in Nigeria, we had the ability to visit friends and neighbors. So I got a very good view of the reality of Nigeria. I had access to very wealthy uncles and aunties. I had access to the ones who had nothing to eat. And I ate in both places, right? So I had a cosmopolitan view of Nigeria. In fact, specifically, we had a house in Achara Layout in Enugu State. And I remember that we used to, well, I'm not sure we were allowed to do this particular thing, but we used to walk from that Achara Layout to Obiago during the masquerade festivals. And it's an interesting experience and no longer happens, and somebody needs to restore. As a child, to come out and see all these masquerades and these crowds of people, it's like a natural Calabar carnival. These are things we should have enhanced. Rather, governments come and shut them down. I don't get the intelligence behind it. Because, okay, go ahead, sorry.
Now,
given the anomalies you pointed out so far, what would you want the Nigerian government to do to restore businesses in the country?
Very good. I don't care what the Nigerian government does. I'm King Ifeanyi Chukwuororo. I'm the son of my father. Right? So I was born to an Abugo man, who is an Nkanu man, who is an Igbo man, who by extension is a Nigerian, who by extension is an African. And I should be asking somebody to fix my problem. I find it to be irresponsible of me to rest my problem on even my state governor. If he is doing something wrong, I will correct him. If he refuses to correct it, I will correct it. That is ownership. The German does not say, my government didn't do. They protest and eject. The Americans do not say, my government didn't do. They protest and eject. They build corporations. NASA was not going to the space station. Elon Musk solved the problem, sold it to his government. Mercedes is not a German company. It is a company by a German person. Why do we keep pushing our problems on somebody else? Are we not men? So for me, I know what I would ask. Let us say I am from Enugu State as a state. And if somebody says to your state governor, what would be your request? sir, when you wake up tomorrow morning, could you do this? I can make that request, right? Peradventure, he chooses not to do it. I should now start sleeping, or I should start crying, or I should wait 4 years. I have to do something about it now. We have to take hold of our lives and stop making excuses. So my opinion is, there is no light in the country. There's no light. So in Opin Soka axis of Enugu State, where we're doing the Opin Soka agricultural commune, 5,500 hectares for agriculture. We're also doing the Oteraka city, right? Oteraka in Ekwebe, 997 hectares of land. We are building a 500 megawatt power station. It is now different if my governor now comes and says you can't build it, then I'll know that he's looking for something else.
So encompassing this project.
Yes, yes. We are going to do no less than 5,000 megawatts of power within the next 3 years. I'm not saying it as a political statement, I'm saying it as what must be done
green energy
across Nigeria. A combination of green energy. So another thing, it's just like these concepts. I notice in the course of this project, I have to consult widely. People are always asking me about my global partners. I am personally investing 5.5 billion in the project. You can't be talking about global partners when you're not investing. I didn't say that I had 6 billion or that I had 7. That 5.5 might be the only money I have. I'm just giving you, so we're not talking about that I have excess. I'm saying I put skin in the game. Might be my entire net worth, everything I've ever accumulated for 14 years in Nigeria. Are you understanding me? You get where I'm going?
I agree.
So we are doing power projects. So I'm going back to what you said about green energy.
yeah.
The Americans did not teach us about being green. We were green before them. They're the ones that toxified the world. They toxified the world and are now telling us to go green. Do you understand me? So we use solar where solar is necessary, wind where wind is possible, but then biomass, biogas, and natural gas when necessary, and coal when necessary. Because the thing there is that sometimes when they talk about all these green, people are trying to sound politically correct. I don't try to sound politically correct because then you lose your humanity and your realistic consciousness of the situation. If what is necessary to give Nigerians power is to condemn one crude oil production facility in Bayelsa, take raw crude, burn it, and kill the solar system, and every Nigerian will have, let's start there. Then we can start modifying for clean crude.
If it's safer.
Because people are dying now. If you have an infant child and they're in a hospital and the power goes off, the child dies immediately from a lack of incubator. So why are we now talking about clean whatever? I'm not saying you shouldn't go clean. Yeah. And we will. We will because that's our natural order. We founded clean. We founded adaptation to nature. We founded symbiosis with nature. When they met us, the reason why we were living the way we were living wasn't because we weren't conscious of the technologies they were harnessing. It was because we were in harmony with our environment. We were not taking more than we needed. It wasn't because we didn't know what was underneath our soil. If you notice, the density of our populations were always in alignment with natural and mineral resources. Yeah. Because those things have spiritual energy. It's that we weren't taking what we don't need. Because truly, I do not really know what you need with 17 rooms. Because the average Nigerian man will come home, pass his children in the parlor, wave, enter his room. And that is till the morning. Breakfast, you see him at the dining table. Swimming pool, he doesn't swim. Do you understand? So a lot of what we are talking about is accumulation of standards that are not utility. So efficient utility will always be green. That green, if what green means is making sure that you respect nature and the environment, then we are all there.
Okay, looking at this, have you been able to have a government partnership to this, or have you working to it? Have you been able to have a government partnership to this effect, or bringing government into this big or bogus project you are into?
Very good. So again, we have a system that has been swallowed by political governance, right? Which I am not a fan of. And so I'm not aspiring to any of those roles, nor do I contest it with anybody, nor do I combat anybody in it. I stay in my lane, right? But I'm not a fan of it, and I won't pretend to be. So here, as I've been in Nnewi, I am widely consulting with all bases of power and unity and community in the society. Be they leagues, associations, traditional stools, or political offices. Now, for me, collaboration is key. Partnership is when you have aligning interests. So I don't want to speak to that when you say partnership. Partnership requires aligning interests. I throw what I'm doing open to everybody. And if anybody feels that we have aligning interests, I will gladly partner. But I don't chase that. Because again, like I said, we have to start taking a sense of ownership. So one of the things I'm very passionate about is waterways intervention. When I was growing up, when we only get to go to the village on 25th of December, and we don't spend more than 6 hours there. Because we go in the morning, I don't know, people think kidnapping is new. No, when you have parents of means or you have parents of repute, we've always had insecurity issues. Yeah. So we go, driver picks us up from Enugu town, takes us to the village, we wait for grandma to cook. When the food is done, we eat. Before 6, we're in Enugu. And this is with terrible roads then, very terrible roads, right? But in that period, there's a place called Eyomu. I think Eyomu is just a name for spring in Kano land. But there's a place we used to go behind my grandma's house. So a long walk where the water was clean spring water. That's what she drank. That's what everybody drank. And we weren't suffering diarrhea then, right? That was possible because of the way people respected the stream. So currently now in Nigeria, everybody's just dirtying water. Everybody's just digging boreholes, pouring water in the gutter, throwing things in the gutter, forgetting that a borehole is just water from an aquifer. And so the water, the thing you threw in the gutter will eventually go into the aquifer. So using that as an example when you talk about collaboration with government, if any state government took that seriously, I would gladly partner with them. If they don't take it seriously, does it stop me from going to my hometown and asking them kindly and running a campaign and sharing flyers and talking with the elders and saying, please, can we at least stop muddying the water? I know they will tell me the village before us, it's dirty before it gets there. I said, no problem. Let us not muddy our own. Let the village below us get clean water. That doesn't require any government participation. But government participation accelerates because they have been given a seat of authority to govern a larger domain. But that can also be replicated town by town until it becomes the norm. And anything that is culture is governing us already.
Okay, the government, there is allegation that the government policy of today is not encouraging businesses. And now that you've come up with this creative, strong idea, how do you look at the Nigerian situation in that aspect? Okay,
so let me use an example of manufacturing. Because we are in Nnewi, and Nnewi is a town that is about, that should be manufacturing. Nnewi is called the Japan of Africa, right? And under normal circumstances, Japan is a productive economy. So Nnewi should be producing. Now, we talked earlier about source of funds, capital flows, and how it's going to banking and oil and gas. In proper investing, you invest for equity. You can't invest for equity in the Nnewi, not because of government policy. Because the traders in the Nnewi do not want investment. They want capital, but they want control. Capital is hard to get without control. So there is a job we must do with our people to explain to them how to own a portion of a massive thing. Like you have Qtix PLC, which is a rarity in the whole of this zone, right? And you can see it's a legacy business that has survived the founder. But then we also have Ilodibe Kenelichku Motors that has fizzled, which was how we used to get around, right? And should be an airline by now, right? So when you talk about government, you're talking about something beyond my control. I won't run unless God comes down and people nominate me And if you ask me to run for political office, my first statement to the people will be, look, I won't lie to you. I'll tell you the one I will do and the one I won't do. First of all, if I was running for governor or anything, my family will not vote for me. Because when I get there, if you're a doctor, I will not appoint you for Commissioner of Engineering or Minister of Works. Do you understand me? If you're a lawyer, I won't see you near Ministry of Health as my family member. So when people ask for leadership, they should know what they're asking for, right? So at the end of the day, and in summary to your question, there is a role government can play. In orientation, the traders at Nkwo, and even as experienced and rich as they are, they need further education on how the financial markets work, how collateral works. And if you don't want collateral, you want equity. Board of directors, people want to know that their money will come out even if you die. It's not an immoral thing for an investor to say, I'm giving you my money, even if you die, I want my money back. I don't want your children to come and say, it's with his daddy that you did that one. But they still have house. They still have cars. Do you get me? Secondly, the structure of finance, just like I am in core finance, and I have capital, right? We do not have the right frameworks to attract capital into the market system, right? So those frameworks have to be created by the market leaders, not Titan offering for cleanup. Structures that can make a China Nexim Bank, the Import-Export Bank of China, trust that if I come to the chairman of Nkwedo, or what, if I misconsider Abuedo, right? And he can shorty XYZ person, that there's a 90% chance that person is a serious man. That there's a structure in place that can give me identity. So my point is that government, you're talking about, most times, we're talking about presidency. Forgetting that there are governors, local government chairmen, market leaders, businessmen, and we're all leaders. We're all a form of government. So the local government, the lowest local government to a trader is the market union. And so the market union should have structures in place that understands the capital markets of China, where you're doing trade, to be able to guarantee, shortee, assess, and bring in capital. Because capital is the number one challenge to manufacturing. Manufacturing needs long-term money. It doesn't need loans. It needs equity investment. It needs moratoriums. It needs time to build your factory. 2 years, you're still building. 2 years, you're still getting the product into the market. But when you start selling, it's like nothing else. And our people do Iwaboy 7 years. But then after that, the person is not willing to invest 7 years to become a manufacturer. I see it as a matter of consciousness less than a political problem.
Now, what you do, what you are trying to do is to make people believe or have confidence in themselves and be participatory in your project or your vision.
Okay.
Now, at the moment,
yes,
there is capital flight because of insecurity in the country, in most states. What is your thinking? Because when nobody wants to invest where his money will be wasted, where his energy will be wasted, where there's no safety, where there is no secure environment. Now, what is your thinking about this issue of insecurity?
Okay. So first of all, is that we have an identity crisis, right? When I was in the US, I had investments in the US necessary for my survival in the US. Now that I'm in Nigeria, I have office operations and manpower to keep me active in the American market and in 17 other global markets, right? But I cannot start investing in the American markets, in the visions of other people, for their children, right? Because for someone to tell me I'm having capital flight in Nigeria, this is a very big problem for us. There are Nigerians who, the second they do a deal, the second the money lands, they convert it to dollar, right? For somebody to tell me that they are shifting their money to JP Morgan Chase, to HSBC, to BNP Paribas, right, is they are telling me that Nigerian children are not their children. That is just those 4 boys inside his compound that are his children. Because only those 4 boys that will be impacted by that economic security model. Because if you recognize that you are part of a national heritage, right, a tribal heritage, a clan heritage, then you should recognize that there is a problem festering around you that is creating that insecurity. There is a reason why if somebody introduces themselves to you as Dr. So-and-so or Barrister so-and-so, you relax. You know that this person is employed. Employed people don't do kidnapping. If you're employed, what time do you have to be standing on the highway waiting to see the right vehicle to carry? Unemployment is 80% of our insecurity. 80%. Politics is 19%. Only 1% genuine insecurity exists in Nigeria. I've traveled across the world and I've lived in Oakland, California, a very violent society. I went to secondary school at Oakland Technical High School, a very violent institution. I've known classmates to bring guns to school in America. I've had guns pulled on me because I looked at someone. I've been attacked because I spoke to a girl that I liked, and some boy who could not speak his own mouth decided that violence was the way to take it by force. It's a violent society. Our people are facing xenophobia. That's a violent society. So violence, threats, risks are everywhere. People board flights, they don't come down. People enter cars, it leaves the road. Insecurity is everywhere. The question is, what choice are you making to either better your society or hurt your society? In life and business, we get to understand that either you are adding at any given time, either you are adding or you are subtracting. There is no such thing as neutrality. For those who are Christians, there's this concept of being lukewarm. You are either hot or cold. I am making every investment in Nigeria. When I have enough in Nigeria, I'll make every investment in Africa. Any other structure I have anywhere in the world is an architecture to extract value from where it is most existing, be it capital, be it technology, and return it to the development of my people. So when you talk about capital flight, it still boils down, it's not a government issue, it's a mental issue. Because there are still things you can do in Nigeria to hedge your money, to keep your money, to keep your asset value. Yeah. But if you are not productive in mindset, then you do the lazy version that people call investment. Put your money in the US stock market. And those companies will now sell you Facebook and Twitter and all that, well-funded innovations, and your children will go and leave you here in Nigeria and go and work for them for $250,000 when you are a billionaire in Nigeria. So it's backward thinking. It's madness.
So this vision is being pioneered in Nnewi here. It's starting off in Nnewi. How do you intend to extend it to other states in Nigeria and outside Africa?
Okay, so very good. So first of all, the I Ga Eso Welu ROADSHOW at the moment a 55-city tour of Nigeria. It isn't because we are against Africa, but I am a student of philosophy in a sense. One of my favorite quotes is that most young kings get beheaded. Another one is the Igbo adage, and in English, that charity begins at home. Just 1 second. Ayochi, you're disturbing us. You said you want to stay with us. So don't disturb us, please. My son. So, Ana Mama Sinono Potabilo. Right? So I want to show my people The world I understand. When I came back to Nigeria, I structured over 20 offices and over 20 homes. I took Nigeria like a textbook subject, like someone studies chemistry. So I've been all over this country, clandestinely studying and understanding the markets and all the variables of our cultural nuances and co, right? And this showcase was born out of a need to now show the world what I've seen, and even more, right? When I was talking earlier, I talked we have a job fair, trade fair, exhibitions, talent showcase. Yeah, sports is part of the talent showcase. There were 3 remaining.
The manufacturing?
No, the fifth one is tourism.
Tourism. Okay, yeah, tourism.
A key part of this is that we are reaching out to Nigerian organizations home and abroad. Nnewi, USA. Ihiala, USA. Right? Oruku, USA. Oga, UK. It is an opportunity to bring our children back home, because when we're here, we will make sure of the security of lives and property in the zone. Not in the field, in the zone. Not in the venue, in the zone. Right? We will be traveling with a joint task force of Army, Police, DSS, Civil Defense, including road safety, and including civilian security forces, coupled, like in a place like Nnewi, coupling with Anambra Vigilante Guard and Agune Chamber, and youth organizations, right? PGs and traditional rulers, to make sure that we have a comprehensive security architecture, that during that period, people can move freely, right? So it is an opportunity. The tourism perspective has 3 layers: cultural tourism, leisure tourism, and business tourism, right? So we will be traveling with people from all over the world, whether they are Chinese or our children in China, whether they are German or our business people in Germany, and giving them a different, true, accessible view of the zone. So many people will say, I want to invest in Nigeria, but if I want to meet the local government chairman, they will do this, they will do that. During that period, by the grace of God, the local government chairman avails himself to our leadership meetings. The Igwes, the President Generals, the community leaders, the chambers of commerce. And so these investor class persons can go into meetings with stakeholders and say, I want to do this in the zone, here's my bottleneck, right? The market leaders, so that trade contingents from China can come in and say, we want to supply this, who do we pass this to? The traders themselves are represented in the interactions to say, here are the challenges we're having, and representatives of China Exim Bank can say, here are the challenges we have with you. If you did this right, we would do this in exchange, right? So tourism is a key part of it. Another key part of it is trade and investment. In every zone, we are identifying $100 million worth projects that we can do in the zone. Direct intervention. Because we believe that investment needs to move inland. No insult to what Sanwo-Olu is doing in Lagos, or what individuals like Dangote are doing in the Lekki Free Trade Zone, right? But there needs to be investment everywhere. There needs to be refineries everywhere. Nigeria can take at least 6 200,000 barrels per day refineries. At least 6. Because refining is not just about fuel. It is also about almost every plastic, almost everything that we have comes from crude oil. In fact, medical components come from crude oil. Do you understand? So it is important that we have refineries in the northeast, in the northwest, in the central zones. Are you getting me? And on the coast. A project like Dangote Refinery, right, can be exporting. But there are people that can be there for local production, for power, for just the supply of gas. Because one problem we have in this country is the kind of centralization where everything costs more because of transport. For example, the things we want to do in agriculture is because you want to domicile agriculture as a local thing. Pepper should not be coming from Kano to Enugu. the fuel surcharge on the pepper, the corruption surcharge from our security services on the pepper, the breakdown of cars and the fraud that happens with drivers to the importers of the pepper who are importing pepper from Nigeria to Nigeria, right, makes pepper unavailable on the Nigerian table. Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
So agriculture, there should be agricultural communes in the Nnewi zone. In any one of these 55 areas, there should be agricultural communes. In any one of these areas. There should be industrial zones in every one of these areas. The industrial development of each area different from the other. So if you go to a purely agrarian community, it should be agro-allied industry. If you come to auto parts, machine parts, it should be technical aligned industries, right? Yeah. If you go to Lagos by the seaside, there can be things we do with seafood, right? So it is funny because every other place in the world, you go to Norway, right? They have oil and gas. They're also surviving on fish, right? Yes. You go to Abu Dhabi or Dubai, they have oil and gas. They're also surviving on tourism and hospitality. Countries under sanctions like Iran have functional electricity, functional trade, their people eat well, their medical facilities are far and beyond better than our own. Countries isolated like North Korea have functioning airlines. Cuba under embargo has lights. There's something wrong with us. It's not wrong with our government, because our government is us. My state governor, Peter Mba, is an Nkanu man. I am an Kano man. I have made no statements as to whether he's good or bad. I'm not mentioning him from a political angle. Yeah. Right?
It's an illustration.
An illustration. Yeah. And if I bring 10 Anambra men here, one of them must come from Soludo's village. Right? So, who is fooling who? We are ruling us. If we're not ruling well, we aren't ruling well. There's nothing wrong with our government. There's something wrong with us. I mean, that's a difficult bite. Probably something I shouldn't say, because some people will lose interest at this moment I said that. But then if we want to fix it, we have to be honest with ourselves.
Now, let's go to sports development.
Okay.
Of course, there's a sort of trade imbalance in the sports sector. Every day you keep talking about talent hunts. You develop them here, we export them abroad. And here it left barren. The World Cup is about to end. Nigeria didn't participate. The sports sector is dead. Everywhere, when the stadia have been grown by leagues. What do you intend to do in that sector?
Okay, so within our 28 project scheme, we have projects in sports. Yeah. So I will speak from two angles. What we're doing with the I Ga Eso Welu ROADSHOW and what we're doing as a project scheme. I may even speak from three angles. So we'll identify them one at a time. And then what I think is missing in Nigeria. So in summary, what we are doing in our own project scheme is that we are platforming a new league for sports in Nigeria. New league for sports in Nigeria. A league that doesn't care about FIFA. I say a lot of things that get me in trouble. Because FIFA is a very powerful organization. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But I'll wake up tomorrow. There's nothing they can do about it. A league that doesn't care about FIFA and a league that doesn't care about the NFF. Why do I say that? The politics and bureaucracy of both international and local overlords are stifling our creative ability to formulate testosterone-releasing agents that will reduce insecurity in Nigeria. If young men were out playing ball all over the place with hope that I can thrive with this, out swimming, out doing archery, out doing horseback riding, insecurity will, even if you don't have money, once you eat and you go and release some of that unnecessary sexual tension, you may not carry gun again. But now in Nigeria, you can barely find parks, you can barely find fields, so we're doing a full league across the country, across sports, not a single sport, 16 sports that were platforming simultaneously, right?
Yeah.
As it relates to the I Ga Eso Welu ROADSHOW, those 16 sports are going to be active at the event. I will read them off a list so that I don't make a mistake. So they are archery, right? Athletics, the running and co, badminton, basketball, boxing, cycling, football, gymnastics, golf, horse riding, kickboxing, lawn tennis, swimming, table tennis, weightlifting, wrestling. All of these are global sports where the international awards in each is up to $1 million. And 90% of them we don't participate, or we're terrible. We only do football. We'll do all. If the international federations do not want our people, we have brands here. So now let's get to national sports development. Sports isn't working in Nigeria because we haven't tied in sports with media. It's also because we don't have strong media here. It's also part of that thing you talk about, capital flight. Because Nigerian media channels will pay billions of naira to get a license to stream a European Cup, but will not be willing to partner with a local Nigerian team to have a good budget for their team. How can you say that someone is playing professional football and you're paying 500,000 naira a month to go and kill his legs? Athletes are warriors. Do you understand? A proper professional athlete is comparable to a heart surgeon. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
So he should be earning in respect of his skill set, the rarity of his abilities. Then you'll see the right people playing ball, right? So one of the things that we're doing in sports is that media integration, where people can get viewership. You have to have the structures for talent management, right? You have to have the structures for sponsoring teams and sponsoring leagues, sponsoring cups. Then you have to have pure sporting development from the years that matter. I'm 39 years old. I used to be a very good athlete. But for years I've been busy doing finance, sitting behind computers, sitting in meetings. If I try to play ball now, I'll break something. The proper age is at 5 years old. Primary school. We should have early primary school, primary 1, 2, 3 league. Primary 3, 4, 5 league. 4, 5, 6 league. Right? Junior secondary league. Senior secondary league.
Yes.
Under 17. Under 21. University league. Adult league. That's what we should have. And that's the structure we put in place on our own side. Others should also put those structures in place and make proper investments. So the point is that if you are Indomie and you want to do ads and people are watching European Premier League, you put your ad in European Premier League. So there's a lot that has to go on in sports development in the psyche of the people to start watching the local games. And that is not a responsibility of the viewer. It's a responsibility of entrepreneurs to give somebody an undeniable product. And how is the fastest way you get them to do that? If your church is playing, won't you come? So that's why when we're doing the sports showcase for Nnewi and for other zones, because when we're talking about Nnewi, we're talking about Nnewi as a zone comprising about 50 different towns, right? All those towns will play. Right? Otolo will play under Chidovas, Otolo. Asia will play under KM Maduako, Asia. Right?
Yeah.
Nanka will play under Visa Nanka. Yeah. Different places will play, sponsored by the sons of the land who value the youth of the land, so that the youth will come to the event. They will play free. They will still get to win prizes. They will be incentivized to go further. And when a child who has the option of medicine and the option of sports comes to his father to discuss it, he can say, "Daddy, watch. It's me. That one is me." Do you understand? See people cheering. I can do this. And the father will know that he's betting behind something reasonable. You understand what I'm saying? Because the issue is that you don't want to take a chance When there's no sports development in the society, there's no hope for this child to be anybody from this thing. 500, the chances, all the odds for 500,000 naira. Do you get what I'm saying? When the guy starts playing the match, he'll start betting on the match, and he'll start making sure his team loses. Because there's no money. 500,000 is nothing to be a professional athlete.
Okay, now, in terms of participation, it is difficult, especially in our society here, to pull people to participate. You have now just mentioned only prominent people from different communities that can sponsor. But in terms of participation, how do you reach out to ensure that maximum number of community members from these participating communities participate actively in this
in the showcase? Yes.
The entire show.
So for the showcase in each town, we need a minimum. This is not including security. A minimum of 70 permanent staff that work before the showcase, work during the showcase, and continue to work for the organization. We also need a minimum of 430 ad hoc workers that will run the showcase. If I tell you the difficulty we've been having in a place like Nnewi, you'll be shocked. To hire people. Are you understanding me? Because there is a high degree of a lack of trust in systems in Nigeria. So when somebody presents an idea, the first thing is that we spend 6 months wondering if I work. Is this thing even possible? We now spend another 6 months asking, what's his profit? What's his gain? What is he getting out of this? We now spend another 6 months asking, will they pick me before applying? 18 months has gone before the guy applies. Are you getting me?
Right.
But again, like I said, I see myself as a owner in my father's land. Whatever the challenges, we are surmounting them by force of will, right? And with the help of you guys that are in media, disseminating, hopefully by the end of this interview, you have a grasp of the integrity, the forthrightness, the genuinity, and the realistic nature of what we are doing. That this is not a dream. This is something happening now. And I believe that is when those questions are answered for our people, that this will happen with or without you. The question is, I Ga Eso Welu, then you'll see that the subscription will jump. Because our people are very good at following a moving train. But they are very bad at pushing the train. So I have lived through the experience, and I've come to understanding that I don't need their help with the push. I will start my own engine, and I will keep moving. And then people will start jumping in. And when the actual wagon is full, overload will now come on top of overload. In fact, some people will bring their own train and join.
Okay, now you talked about one major area you talked about is the issue of talent hunt.
Yes.
Now, today in Nigeria, the issue of hard drug and other illicit drugs are clearly huge. Now, how do you go about this? Because top development is not only an area, it's not only an area where you hunt for talent. Now, what are the other areas? Now, how do you contain this?
Yes.
The problems I mentioned.
There was a question you asked me earlier, which was about my growing up. I grew up in East Oakland, California, same place Tupac Shakur was born. It's a very violent society. I grew up in what is called the shady 80s. Shady 80s. Afa, a name somebody gave an area, shady 80s. That is people who don't play, people who are, bad boys, right? And I went to Oakland Technical High School. I existed in a violent society. Many of my friends were drug dealers. Many of my friends were pimps. Many of my friends were all kinds of different things. And one of the reasons why they were the way they were was that the circle of influence of successful people in the society for the African American child were drug dealers, pimps, and then movie stars and athletes. So if you weren't an athlete, you weren't in entertainment, you were on the street. I had a different option. You understand? On my mother's side, I come from the Chuksoji family in Oben Kano. Right? And anybody that knows that family, my eldest uncle, Charles Chuksoji, was a pioneer Nigerian in the US economy. Right? Who, together with his brother, owned a series of McDonald's franchises. And many Nigerians who went to America during the 70s and 80s, they were the first set of people to employ them before they now went to the system. They had television station, they had beauty supermarkets, they had automotive franchises. They had a different economic background, and they were both educated to PhD level. Right? On my father's side, my grandfather was court clerk, old Abwani division, when it stretched to Abakaliki. I've read documents of him doing land transactions in 1942. Purchase. A lot of the lands he bequeathed to his children were not ancestral because he was a younger child. So when things were divided when his father died, he didn't get the best lot. Comes from a wealthy home, but he didn't get the best lot because he was young. But he acquired a lot of land to the point that all his children, at least about 16 boys, all of them, he was able to equip sizable property, including in Enugu town, purchased lands, right? So now, for me, my father is a lawyer, my mother is an educator and a fashion designer. They are educated. I have a godfather who is one of the leading importers in Nigeria in the area of electrical, electronics and co. I have influences that gave me an alternate view. An alternate view. I still had the drug dealers as friends. I still had the drug dealers as neighbors. I still met them in school. I still fought like everybody else, because you can tell I'm not right? My head's strong, small, right? Yeah. But I had a reference. I had a place not to disappoint. I had a name. I had a heritage. I had opportunities other than. And so when the time was right, I chose. Right? So what am I saying? A lot of the boys that we're talking about who are drinking and smoking and this and that, whatever we think is wayward life, a lot of them would prefer a more relaxed engagement, a more relaxed life. But that option doesn't exist, at least not to their knowledge. And that's part of the I Ga Eso Welu message. It's an opportunity for us to show them. So, you know, I was talking about the 7 different divisions, and we've talked about 6 so far. The 7th one is national orientation. The boys that our young men and women are able to see are the ones renting Rolls Royce in Abuja, parading themselves as the richest men. When we know who the richest men are, that they all drive common cars. Do you understand? And shouting at the rooftop with 3 girls on the side, on Instagram and Facebook, parading themselves as success. This is the reference this young man has. The young lady has a reference of an irresponsible woman who refuses to marry. Again, I'm not politically correct, so I'm sure I'm losing female audience. But it isn't a righteous, moral, or sensible thing for a woman to leave her most productive ages and then wait after she has chased career and she's 40 years old to now start spending 50,000 for in vitro fertilization to do what God gifted you at 23 free of charge. Do you understand? But these are the examples of success. Who is showing Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as an example of success? She married when she was supposed to marry. She had her children. And she's still at the pinnacle of global success. Yeah. Who is showing Ife Diaso as an example of wealth in Nigeria? Is he not living in a good compound? Does he not have children? Is there a country in the world that will reject giving him visa? Right? So part of this is showing these young people that there's an alternate view of life. That there are people manufacturing, people producing, people who are lettered, people who are cultured, who are respectable, who ride G-Wagon. And it's not bulletproof because they don't need it. They drive themselves, not because they can't drive convoy, but because they don't need it. You don't see them at nightclubs because their house is a resort. So how can you leave comfortable pool, trees everywhere, nice drink, chilled, butler serving you, and now come into one squeeze, 200 square meter space, where boom, 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 the song you don't like. You go to your house, you relax in comfort, you drink your wine like I'm drinking. And you can be playing Ave Maria on your wonderful Bose sound system, right? So when we give that reference, young men like myself, because it's the strong-head ones that we lose to drugs and alcohol, because those are the ones that rebel. The other ones will just align and live normal lives and turn into sales girl, right? And so we need to give those strong-head people another alternative view of a route to success. They have to believe that there is, you know, the Chinese came and copied the Americans with the Chinese dream because they knew that that concept made sense. The concept of the American dream, that you can be a child of nobody, can become somebody without knowing anybody. And the concept of I Ga Eso Welu is that concept. That any of these young men who come and show arts and crafts in their development of, let's say, furniture, we are building the most expensive building project I know, single building project that I know in Abuja, that we call ASDC, is African Skyline Development Corporation, right? ASDC is the one, right? $300 million building, 298 units of apartments. We want every door inside to be carved by a Nigerian. We want every toilet, because you know now we import sand. When you import a toilet, it's sand. When you import tile, it's sand, right? So rather than in a luxury development, we're not building luxury, by the way, premium, not luxury. We're not wasting money on foreign things and calling it luxury. Now, as opposed to going and buying a toilet seat for 500,000 naira, isn't it better that I get a mason, train him on how to carve, let him carve me a toilet seat, and use firewood and bake it? There's no way he can bake 2 toilet seats for me in a month, and I give him 500,000 naira and save 250. Is it not? And then a young man has gained a skill. Like I said, we have a logic problem. We don't have a governance problem. We have a logic problem, because it's also the lack of logic in the government that is also creating this. Because you can even be stealing money and we won't know if you had the right sensibility of development, right? So in short, a lot of this is about national orientation. When young people know that the opportunities are here, they will start looking home. And we can sit on their ideas to better develop our organizations into globally competitive firms. The elders, Ga Eso Welu, because money is money, puts you in a position of ownership. The youth, Ga Eso Welu, because they will get a fair shake from the thing that they are helping to create. Yes.
Now, I Ga Eso Welu is a big campaign, it's a group, a team. Use that word. Now, what is your dream for Nigeria? What is your dream for Nigeria, and what can you be remembered for?
And also, I'm looking full up to that, and the message given to the youth in regards to this of your work.
Okay. So I will rephrase and say my vision, which vision transcends thinking, gets into the realm of the spiritual. My vision is for a Nigeria beyond a child's best dream. My vision is for a Nigeria beyond a child's best dream. That is, useless, nonsensical imagination should not be able to imagine what we're going to build. My vision is for a Nigeria beyond a child's best dream, as a nexus for an Africa that leads the world. I do not want an Africa that is surviving. We were the pace setter before our civilization was derailed by consumerists. I studied in the US. They are consumerists. You understand me? Consumptors, and we are becoming consumptors. We just eat, we don't put back. You eat, you don't plant the seed. You eat, you put the seed. You eat, you put the seed in waterproof and throw it in the garbage can. Isn't something wrong with you? Do you understand? We need, first of all, to stand. And that requires a revision of everything. Our education structures are terrible. They need a revision. Sports, health, science and technology, arts, they all need a revision. We keep, for example, this is not African furniture. This is not, and this is not African clothing. This is not African clothing. I'm sorry. It's not. 200 years ago, we lost a concept of self. This house is not African architecture. This is what our builders now build. Do you understand me? Structures of wet construction that the world has left and abandoned it to us. Inefficient building models. Are you getting me? Cheap aluminum windows. Very small ventilation. Dying inside the house that you spend millions to build. No trees in the compound. Interlocking stones. Why am I killing the earth to live? Why can't I breathe? Why can't I have flowers in my house? You have borehole, water it. It's exercise. Why do you have a gym? Why do you have a gym? Go outside. Water your plants. I wash my clothes. It's a form of exercise. Keeps my hands and my fingernails nimble. It's not an absence of washing machine. And it's not an overage of time. It starts at 5 a.m. every day and closes at midnight. I get 5 hours of sleep because I work in 5 time zones. And there are things I like to do before Nigeria wakes up and calls coming. And there are things I must do before I shut down. In between, if I am lucky, because a man needs 7 hours, I can take a midday siesta. It almost never happens. And it runs like that. If you call me at any time between 5 a.m. and midnight, you won't hear me. I'll just answer your call. Right?
I don't know if you answered that my question.
I'm listening to you.
What would you like to remember from? I don't know if you answered that.
Oh.
Legacy.
No, you know the memory, the legacy of a man should be determined when he is gone. And it's important, I've always stated, when I die, once it is confirmed by one of my children and one of my brothers, or mother, whatever, God forbid in evil, right? One of my brothers, or one of my children, or one of my cousins, depending on how we go, right? That I am dead, I should be put in the ground. In my hometown, no. God would never allow me past the age of 75. God would never allow me past the age of 75 to leave Nigeria and say I'm going anywhere. To go and see what? If I haven't seen it before 75, I don't need to see it. So I'll be close to home. You take me to my village, to my compound, you open ground, you put me inside, you cover it, you plant a tree. When you're ready, I'm coming. You do a funeral. When I'm done, let them give me a legacy. I'm telling you what I want to achieve. I want to achieve a Nigeria beyond a child's best dream. That means the Nigeria that I want to achieve, if I start to describe it to you, you will think that I am mad. I told you that I'm doing a $28.28 billion project over the course of the next 3 years. Already that doesn't make sense. Dangote Refinery was a $20 billion project done by the richest man in Africa, done by a very successful Nigerian businessman, highly connected. It took 11 years. So if I tell you I'm going to deploy 28.28 billion, obviously something is wrong with me. So I'm describing it in esoteric terms. When you see it, you believe it. A Nigeria beyond a child's best dream. as a nexus for an Africa that leads the world. It's an unimaginable concept to think that Africa will lead China, that Africa will lead Japan. I'm not trying to build Japan of Africa. I want to build Africa, and then they will build Japan, Africa of Japan. There's this thing that really annoys me. This fruit called Odala. They call it. No, the American name.
They call it
It's not cherry.
It's not sure, I think.
Odala.
African star fruit.
Apple.
Okay.
African star apple, sorry. African star apple. No. I call it Odala. If I'm speaking to somebody in English, I call it Odala. I call apple American Odala. Is it not? So I reference the identity of the foreign in respect of my localization. Because that's what they do to us. Right? There's this thing they call African traditional religion. No. I call it African culture. I now call the other ones American religion. Saudi religion. Saudi traditional worship. Roman traditional worship. There's this thing they call traditional wedding. No. The name in Igbo is Ibanku. The other one is Ibanku Ndiocha.
Yeah, white wedding.
No, it's Ibanku. It's not white wedding. I don't know what wedding is. That is why it's called I Ga Eso Welu. It's not called I Ga Eso Welu because it's Igbo. This is a $20 million project. Why would I spend $20 million, whether my money or borrowed money, or synergetic money, or whatever, to do will you join and partake? What am I promoting? Is I Ga Eso Welu? Is I Ga Eso Welu the world over? When it's playing in China, this project, when it's streaming, 28 cameras are shooting live, 4 drones, translated in 7 languages, including Arabic and Chinese and Russian and French and some others, right? When it comes on, it should say, I Ga Eso Welu. Yeah, it's not going to say, will you join us? Go and Google what I Ga Eso Welu is. It's not going to say, will you join and partake? It will say, I Ga Eso Welu is what the Chinese man should know, that what he's watching is I Ga Eso Welu. However he wants to butcher it. I can't translate it for him. It is the meaning I will translate for him in Chinese, not the name. My name is King Ifeanyi Chukwu Obuko Ororo Jr. That's my full names, right? I can't translate Ifeanyi Chukwu for somebody. If I want to introduce myself to somebody in China, I will say Ifeanyi Chukwu Ororo. I cannot give you a Chinese version of Ororo now. So, again, all of what we do is borrowed. That has to change. I want my legacy, God permitting, to be that I stood on the shoulder of elders like Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and other people who have suffered unmeritoriously, like Patrice Lumumba. And I took a different route because I was standing on the shoulder of my elders, and hopefully their spirits are somewhere fighting alongside me, because I do know that something backs me, because I do things that do not make sense, that I have not earned. I know things I shouldn't know, right? I stood on their shoulders and I achieved their vision. That's why one of my organizations is called Vision 1960. I don't think there was anything wrong with the construction of Nigeria. I don't. Till tomorrow, I don't believe it. I think there's something wrong with how we evolved it. We could have taken that bad story, that amalgamation, taken a positive approach to it, united with our differences and creating a cosmopolitan society. Because when you go to Russia, right, which I have been, multiple tribes. China, majority hands Chinese, but multiple tribes. The UK is called the United Kingdom because England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. Tribes. Much of Europe, you know, they are small countries. That's why it looks like they're homogeneous. They're not. They're just small. Most European countries, if you bring it and put it inside Adamawa, you get lost. Do you understand me? So the point is, when you look at Norway and this and that, tribes, they're just small. So it's basically a city made of Niger State, a state made of Niger State. So that's why it seems like they're homogeneous, because they're just 2-3 tribes in there. But at Europe as a whole, you have all kinds of Anglo-Saxons, you have, what do you call it? The people in the Caucasus, the Russians, they are different. You know, all these, the Scottish, the, right? Different people, amalgamated, but functional. In the looting of Africa, they are functional in the looting of Africa. They still fight among themselves. So let us be functional in the restoration of Africa. We can still fight among ourselves.
With the vision of building Nigeria beyond the Shai's best dreams, what is your thinking? What is your idea? How do you look at our family settings these days? Because we've lost the ethos, we've lost the value system. How do you build a decent society to all these things? Because we are making an investment. The investment is coming from your art, from your strength, from your sweat, from your thoughts, from everything about you. But you can't invest in an area, in an environment where the mindset is not stable, where the ethos are not stable, where the value systems are not there. What you should look at, how do you look at the family settings? Because the youth you are talking about illicit drugs, smoking and all that of things. Yet our families are not stable. What is your thinking? Flowing from where you are coming from, flowing from your background, and what you have for family.
I have the rare experience of having a mother and father who are not just together, but still eat dinner together. And they are both in the US, where you know that women tend to get there and they go mad. So I believe in women, because I have a mother who is a good mother and a good wife. I have a father who, you can never attest to a man's adventures, not my business, but who is a responsible man and a functional example. And so at the end of the day, I have the privilege of family. I have 3 living brothers who are good members of society, who are kind at heart, right? So there are some levels of wickedness I have not experienced, but I have seen it. Household wickedness, as they call it, right? Which I have seen from the extended side. But till tomorrow, if you invite me for an event in my village, I will go. Sit down with my people. No police, no army. Eat red yam. Yam and red oil. Whatever is presented. I don't drink beer. Drink whatever beer is on the table. Or palm wine, or whatever, which I normally take, right? And take a risk on the poison. If they are the ones that will kill me, and God allows it, it might be time to go. Because accident can still kill you. What is my point? Family is a sacrifice. Family is a sacrifice. I am married. I have 3 children. Family is a sacrifice. I cannot say that I have the best home internally, myself, as a person, because I am in the middle of that challenge of Instagram and Facebook and a reference to other people's life and the modern day gaslighting and poison that young women encounter in the course of life, expectations from a marriage that is not possible. A man in my position, I am always in meetings, always in interactions, running a schedule you cannot control. So if you do not have that training to have confidence in the man that you married and enable him to be free in his interaction, you see that any woman that is with me will be having a heart attack every day. And when that heart attack enters social media and story, broken home. Do you understand? And this is what is happening in a lot of successful families. Now let's enter the non-successful one. You can't bring food, can't bring water. One guy is offering your new beautiful bride an opportunity to go out and go and eat ice cream, eat shawarma, collect 50,000 deposit. Your whole salary is 50,000. It is hard to avoid the poverty in the society, right? The social dynamics the movies that we watch is making family almost impossible, whether you are rich or you're poor. To now talk less of the people who have the accidental discharge of marrying a woman in America. That one is not 50-50. It is 90-10. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So for me, this is also something we must work on. It's part of culture. It's part of that ethos and education. The financial one is easier to deal with. That if we can change the economic lot of our people, a lot of women, if they had means, will not go outside of their marriage in the way that they are now. Because then a woman would be trying to go outside of a marriage out of sexual urge or interest, as opposed to what is happening now, where people are just doing out of desperation. Because a person in desperation can always argue that they are right. Yeah, my mother was sick. My husband did not bring any money. My son did not pay school fees. He did not bring any money. Okay, Chukwu said I should come and see him and collect school fees. When I got there, he transferred the money in my account and said, "Ofozikwa, it's your turn to reciprocate." What am I supposed to do? Refund him? Are you understanding me? So when you take, when we were growing up in the US, the average girl, to go out with you, she has to actually want to go out with you, because it can't be for the food, because the average girl could afford to buy the food. So we need to restore economic sensibility. But then when we do that, our movies are telling a bad story. Every movie you watch in Nigeria is showing a place like this. Everybody in Nigeria cannot have a place like this. Everybody cannot exist in these settings. Do you understand? But if a young girl believes that that is the only setting, if a young man believes that that is the only setting, it actually makes that even young men are now not getting married. We're now not talking about money. Because when our fathers got married, it was when my father, as a wealthy man, my father was a very wealthy man, not rich. It was when my father got married. My father was in Nigeria. To give you an idea of the kind of money he was controlling. He was in Nigeria, he married, he sent his young bride to America to go and study. Was paying school fees from here. He was visiting her like 3 times a year, like, I'm going to India, let me stop by. Are you getting me? She was keeping balance, not school fees, balance in her bank account. Are you getting me? But that man, he only moved into flats when he married her. I don't know if you understand. We were born abroad, not because my father was abroad. It's his wife that was there reading for her own advancement. Are you getting me? The man was here doing his business. He only moved into flats when he got married. Now today, a young man wants to be in duplex to do girlfriend. Again, it's because of what you see. Because some girls will not have the discussion with you without Venza. And that is corruption at the highest level, because a young man cannot live without women, and a young woman cannot live without the approval of men. So when the culture calls on things that are... So these are things that we will reinvent when we begin to tell our own stories, make movies that are real. In a layout, in a Jegunle, show block of flat with no running water. Show young girls in Branton Park, Okofia University, fetching water and there's no water. Bucket gets stolen. The reality of Nigeria. So that someone at UNIC Koka will say, it's not just me, see Benedion University. See this, a reference in life. And if we get ashamed of what we're showing, let's fix it. You know, so.
Okay, finally from me, of course, we are almost reaching that where I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, it appears to be flowing.
Yes.
Because one idea brings up another
Yes.
one. What advice do you have for our families, the society, the state, Nigeria, Anambra,
State actors.
Nigeria, and Nigeria?
Okay.
What message are you taking to them?
Okay.
Or you have to probably amplify more?
Yes. So I'm going to start to concise my answers so that it can be followed up by more questions as opposed to length. Right? So, to family structure. I believe in marriage. I have an article on marriage. I call it the first technology, the first invention, and I believe that our ancestors invented it. It is the thing that most replicates the Godhead. The Igbos have the concept of Chukwu, Chineke, na Chi. Right? Right?
Yes.
Which essentially is the Creator, the Almighty God, and the God in me. And I foment, I believe, that culturally that is from their understanding, because these were the first people. There's a woman, Catherine Achalano, that wrote a book, They Lived Before Adam, right? That these were the first people on the earth who had pure connection with the divine, and they structured that institution of marriage around that family structure. The supreme authority in the home, the father. Supreme authority. Again, I'm not trying to get likes. The supreme authority in the home, the father, an unquestionable authority who never acts because there's no need. Supreme does not intervene except in extraordinary circumstances. The ruling authority in the house, the mother, right? That is actually the head of the house, because the real head of the house has already set the template and is being ordered by the homemaker, the wife, right? Onyen Chikota, the person organizing the home, right? And the seeds, the result of their union, of that coupling, absent of which you can't have community, because that is the lowest microcosm of community. A man and a woman unite, they give birth to children, and they become a family. That family, their children marry into another family, give birth to a family, you begin to have Omonna. Right? Those ones keep expanding until you have a town, you have a village, you have a lineage, you have a clan. So absent of that family, all other pieces, as Chino Achebe said, the things that bind us are no more. Things fall apart. Things fell apart with colonization. The things that are falling apart in the absence of family now is woe unto us. So the point is that everybody should hold on as much as they can to their family. I'm holding on to mine, not because I'm dutifully satisfied or that I am dissatisfied, but it's very important at all costs and against better advice as a fool. Right? Everybody should hold on to their own. And our institutions need to be stronger in holding families together. Our churches need to resist separation. Our legal system needs to resist separation. Our culture needs to resist separation. That does not mean that vices, violence, abuse of all kinds should be encouraged. It means that that is part of resisting separation, taming excesses, right? But also recognizing that raising a child, right, in a single parent home is a type of violence against the child, right, that far exceeds beating and should not be tolerated at all costs, except when a parent poses physical harm to the child. Do you understand what I'm saying? My advice as it comes to the political class, because egun dobek, egun jeb. I live in this country. Oh. If you're a sensible person, it's very difficult to spend 1 million naira in a day. Oh. Very difficult. What will you eat? Do you know what I ate for dinner yesterday? Ako. Ako that the women sell at Roundabout. Yes. I put it down on the fire, stirred it up, cut some onions, cut some cabbage, took some this Hausa pepper, yes. Mix it. That was my dinner. Drank wine. Now big man I be now. And that was it. I cook for myself because I don't want loads of aids that are just sycophants, right? Are you getting me? Yeah. I eat natural foods, and I do not know how I can possibly spend 50,000 in a day on food. And when a man crosses 365 million naira a year, it means he has 1 million naira daily budget. And some people are crossing 3.65 billion. That is 10 million naira daily budget. And they're not satisfied. Are you getting me? What are you doing with the money? So, build a name for yourself. I think that there's a lot more to gain. Easier for Kego, in my view. And funny enough, when I started practicing that concept, the money is coming. That's the funny thing. The less I spend, the more I am normal, the more I have at my disposal. I don't know how it works. It's like money magic. I don't know. I'm doing money magic. I'm not the one performing the magic. I'm just living a certain way, and things are working out for my good, right? And so, funny enough, I'm not a religious person, but in this division, 90% of these people are Christians, and the Bible says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His holiness, and all other things shall be added unto you." But they seem to have been seeking to add all other things at the sacrifice of the righteousness. To now live in encased compounds in your village, where you're from Anambra, you're from Nnewi. When you come home, your umunna are not coming to your compound. People are coming from Jamaica to come and see you, and you feel good about yourself. It's kind of weird to me. I want to read stories to people from my umunna. I play with kids in my village. I mean, in December, I go swim in Etavo. Anybody can verify this. Etavo is a river stream. It's not clean. In Apugo. Down the street from my father's house at Eziobodo. Any December that I am home, I go and swim with the children in Etavo. People will pass and say, "We saw your car. What were you?" I say, "I'm swimming in the river." People have said that I want to use their children for ritual. No, I just want to relate with my people. But it's so uncommon that when I'm done swimming, I come out. The children who don't know who, because I do it on a random day for my own security. If I now start giving them money, some will refuse.
Because they don't know why.
Because they thought I have come here for, I just came to celebrate with you. Like people go to Motherless Babies Home and record. I want to celebrate with the random children from my village. Anybody that's lucky enough to swim the day I'm swimming, you get 5k. It's not because I'm at the It's just because you're my people. But I'm telling you, some kids will, hey, uncle, thank you. My mommy said I should not collect from ritualists like you.
Now, you make mention of something, I think it will be the last one day.
Yes.
How do you want to accommodate this less privilege? Because if you look around these days, it is not more a government project. It's not more a government project, but rather individual project. Do you have any space to accommodate them? Maybe in terms of this, your sports and every other education backgrounds and every other thing you are coming up with?
So there are two types of less privileged. There are the handicapped,
Yeah.
and then there are the economically or socially disenfranchised. From the point of view of the economically or socially disenfranchised, this project has been done to be a leveling field. If you come to perform as a young lady who does not have means, when you're going through the audition process, you are given the same privilege, the same quality of microphone, and you're being judged on the merit of what your performance is. If you scale through to the end, rather than allow you to go on stage in those your rags and that your unkept hair, and then the crowd will be judging you on economics, we level the playing field by making sure that there's a wardrobe team that kits everybody equally. It's the same with the sports. The way we're doing the sports is that individual sons of each town, or people resident in each town who decide to sponsor a team, or people who don't have first sons, or their first sons are not serious, let me not say useless, the other people can go and carry their town.
Yes.
And in a team branding partnership, sponsor the youth. The point is that every team on that field will wear the same standard of uniform. Everybody will get the same playing time, the same coaching standard, the same everything, so that if Chidova Otolo wins Vizananka, it is because the youth of Otolo are better, not because one person invested more in their team. That's the leveling playing field. Secondly, in running sports, for example, I'm just using it as an example, none of the team branding partners are allowed to go and scout for players, because then some will buy players, some will bring. No, we do open tryouts, open auditions, and pick teams for each person based on the metrics of the best swimmer from each town, the best archer from each town, the best horse rider, the best football, the best 22 people in football, and co. So it is a level playing field, and that means that a son of nobody who comes out for the audition, there is no opportunity of a stakeholder they just get it on merit. The same happens with the job fair. If you come to the job fair to apply for CEO of Itunaya Media Networks, a job that pays no less than $50,000-$75,000 a year here in Nigeria, head office in Abuja, right? And you have no WAEC, but you claim that you can do it. You're from Oga. You claim that you can do it. We'll give you a chance to fail and fail out. Because Elon Musk, Bill Gates, some of these names that we're calling, Ife de Aso or Mekania, where is the PhD in any of those cases?
In their investments.
Right?
Yeah.
Because intelligence, natural endowment, gifts are from God and dint of hard work. If you have character, if you have gifts, and you work hard, you succeed. Right?
Yeah.
So, we are using the same methodology for jobs, for talent hunt, for everything that involves youth. That's why we give the same access to exhibitions. Everybody comes to do their exhibition. Go, you're stressing me. Go that way. Go to him. No, go to him. Go to him. Go to him, or go to him. Pick one. Go and sit down. He's not allowed to watch his tablet once it goes below 20%. That's why he came to give it to me.
That's a good boy.
Yes, that's God. I'm doing magic with him, but God is the one doing the magic. So the point is that the system is designed to be for everybody and be accessible for everybody. And that's why I say the paid participation is only those of us that are businessmen who have something to gain by branding or presenting a product or service. But for the youth, from the age of 5, youth ends at 42. From the age of 5 to 42, all participation free. You're stressing me. No, go and sit down. Go and sit down. Or you go inside. 1 or 2. Stop letting him get up. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm almost done, son. Almost done. Just 10 minutes.
Okay.
Right?
Finally.
Don't rush because of him. I'm just informing him. You'll be conscious of the time.
Yes. Now, in 2 or 3 minutes, summarize this project born out of your vision. Summarize it in a way that to be.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
The I Ga Eso Welu ROADSHOW is a national showcase of Nigeria, designed to present our people globally in their best light, avoiding unnecessary political sensationalization. We are traveling across the country to 55 distinct cities. They are cities, they are just not developed. Starting in Nnewi, Anambra State, and ending in Enugu State, which is a complete loop. To give you an idea how the loop goes, we go from Nnewi, Onitsha, Asaba, Warri, Benin, Ado-Ekiti, Akure Ondo, Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, Ikoyi, Lagos State, Ikeja, Lagos State, Ojo, Lagos State, Abeokuta, Ogun State again, Osogbo, Osun State, Ibadan or your state, and we keep going like that, meandering through Niger State, up through Katsina, Zamfara, right? Coming back down to Abuja, and from there, we go back up and go through Boronu, come back through Taraba, Adamawa, Taraba, cross river, right? Enter back through Ebonyi, loop around, go back up to Lokoja before coming back to Enugu. No state in Nigeria that we will not visit. No state in Nigeria that we will not visit. Right? Some states will visit twice, like Kano, Kaduna. Some states will visit 3 times, like Abuja, Anambra, Lagos. In line with the cultural significance, economic significance, right? Social significance of a space. In selecting the locations, we took cognizance of the availability of major market centers, major cultural centers, major cities for each region. Nnewi represents the city center for an axis that includes Ihiala, right? That includes Oruku, Oga, Adazi, right? That includes Nnobi, Orifite, Osumei, right? So everything that is trapped up in this direction, because we still do Onisha. When we're doing Onisha, Ojoto, Oba, right? Ogidi, all those places fall into that axis. Everything chained up, Abacha and Co, right? All chained up. When we're doing Oka, right? We're doing every other thing that we didn't do, including Enugu, and even parts of Udi fall into the Oka events. Because when we do Enugu, we only do Nsukka. We don't even do my hometown in Nkanu. We do Nsukka and Enugu town, because Nkanu should filter to Enugu town. Ibueze and Co should filter to Nsukka, right? Yeah. Eziago and Co should filter to Enugu, or depending on your location, to Oka, right? It's the same when we go to Ijebode. It's why we're doing Ado Ekiti, right? And we're doing Akure Ondo. So different people filter, and some people in Ondo will just filter to Ijebode. Some people in Ekiti will filter to Akure. You understand me? Yeah. And we're doing every single significant place, including Mambila Plateau that has no population. But it's significant, because it's the home of where we could have a tea industry in Nigeria. And that is significant. It is where we have some of the highest plains in Nigeria. Complete different atmosphere in Nigeria. And people should see that, experience that. If there's no population there, let's take the population. Let's go there together. Let all see it. Let the world come and see it. Let's explore the opportunities. That's the trade and investment component, right? We're going to Maiduguri, Borno State. It is our brothers that are violent. We'll talk to them and appeal to them. Everybody is complaining that the reason for your banditry, the reason for this is this. And somebody feels that our people are not logical enough to know when they see real opportunity from real intentions. And that does not mean that this project will not come under attack. But again, if so well, right, then I'm ready for whatever. Because it's ours. It must happen. The Chinese need to see us, our people, for what we are. And in seeing us in each location, we're galvanizing all the communities in an area, bringing them to a center. We're doing dinners, breakfasts, lunches, excursions, different things, but then we have the main fairgrounds where everything is consummated, where everything is seen transparently. If somebody interviews and gets a job and they're appointed, they're brought to the stage so that people see that it is real. It's not magic, right? And they see how the opportunity was accessed. And they can help us in making sure the person does not steal, right? And our people will have this across the country, this experience of animals and the natural world and all these other things. We'll show them the opportunities the world has for them. They'll show us what they can offer to the world. And we will be directing this scripted, owned by us. A new vision, a revision of how we look at ourselves and how the world should look at us. I Ga Eso Welu is not an Igbo project. It is a project about the African man being championed by an Igbo man. It is the language that is primary and principal to me. That I'm not doing this interview in Igbo is so that everybody can hear it. And if I speak Igbo, most Igbos cannot even hear it because I speak Igbo. Because I took time to learn the language of my people. I am now currently learning Hausa. When I'm done with that, I will learn Yoruba. Important for me to acclimatize myself with the culture of my people and their origin. And I want everybody, wherever they are, to come out and participate in this and know that this is designed for you. There is a project scheme coming into the country. It's already here. We're just waiting for who will be part of I Ga Eso Welu, I Ga Eso Welu, who will be the stakeholders as investors, as suppliers, as contractors, as job workers, right? As companies that will benefit from the investment capacity that is coming in and the project scheme. As individual businessmen that can synergize their ambition. People say, I want to build this, but there's no power. Say, okay, no problem. Come and build that thing in one of our developments. We'll guarantee you power. People say, I want to do this, but it's an issue of finance. We'll say, okay, if you can supply us with this, we'll finance the development of the factory. You pay us off with products. That's what I Ga Eso Welu is about. So a lot is happening for the youth in the public dialogue, in the public space for them to get opportunity. But a lot is happening quietly with businessmen and people who are, in essence and in summary, if you know that thing that is good, that you are doing, that you think is not possible, when I Ga Eso Welu is in your town, please reach out to us, or even before that, reach out to the local organizing committees of your town to see really if that thing you think is impossible is actually nearly impossible. Because what we're after is a Nigeria beyond a child's best dream. And I'm not sure that most times when people are saying that what they want to do is difficult, that children are not dreaming that thing. So if children can dream it, we are interested in doing what is beyond that one. So bring it into the fold. It might be something that we can bring partners for you. It might be something we can invest in. It can be something we can partner in. It can be something we can buy into, right?
It's a $20 million project, right?
$28.28 billion.
Budget.
39 point something trillion naira.
Okay.
It is beyond the budget of any state in Nigeria. It is beyond the budget of all states in Nigeria combined.
All right.
It's a project in private sector-led investment scheme of projects we are doing now. Right?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, this is a marathon one.
Museum, come give me your
Let us.
3 and the 10 minutes.
Okay.
My name is King Ifeanyi Chukwu Ororo. I spell my Ifeanyi Chukwu Chi Ukwu CHI.
Okay.
Most people know Chukwu, it's Ifeanyi Chukwu. Just the I, CHI. Ororo, O-R-U-R-U-O. My people call me the Aja Ninkembo. Isi Milina Solora Nankano.
A titled name or?
It is more of a spiritual name than a title. I mentioned it because I know that question will come.
Okay. Because
My grandfather took a
that's what you have in
title.
your email.
Yes. My grandfather took a title, Chi Naweze. In Igbo land, it is God that designs
Okay, she now what is
who will be king. So I'm not claiming. Chi Naweze. That is what it is. God divines who will be king. So I'm not ascribing it. I'm not ascribing a title to myself.
Yeah.
I am from. I'm from Akbugo, in Nkanu West local government area of Enugu State. But I call myself an Nkanu man because some of this nomenclature we have placed on ourselves and all this unnecessary division. Nkanu is a clan of people that stretches in Nkanu West, Nkanu East, Enugu South, Nkalago, and Co. So I consider myself an Nkanu man. I don't want to limit myself to Nkanu West because somebody has decided to limit me to a geopolitical construction.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
I think we are off, right?